The mystery of Stonehenge just got deeper.
Stonehenge, set up by the Druids. Nobody knows who they were or what they were doing. How did Stonehenge ever get established? How did they move those stones, potentially from hundreds of miles away? What is it that we are unable to understand? And while we squabble on a matchbox worth of intellectual territory, is it not possible that you and I and all of us could be exploring a vast new cosmology of radiant new ideas, iridescent with possibility and hope? And does this story about Stonehenge and the mysteries that it may yet conceal offer us true hope? That if we haven't been told the truth about history, of course we're not being told the truth about the present. Stonehenge, nobody knows where they were or what they were doing.
The mystery of Stonehenge just got deeper. New research reveals that 5,000 years ago, the altar stone largely buried at the centre of the ring was brought from northern Scotland and not from Wales as previously thought. Somehow, Neolithic people with only primitive tools moved a 6-ton rock the length of Britain.
So sort of patronising, aren't we, about people that hail from an era about which we have limited information. Primitive people with Stone Age tools and dirty, smelly bottoms that probably were difficult to discern whether it was an armpit aroma or a genital aroma, was somehow able to worship astral entities and beings beyond our understanding, almost as if history is a narrative constructed by people that benefit from concealment rather than a factual document. Something that's been argued by, well, yes, David Icke, but also Michel Foucault. However you look at it, if you look at it at all, we're being lied to, baby. And the Henges is just one great bloody geological example of those terrible lies. I'm on the BBC and will continue to be unless someone looks at my computer.
The scientists were stunned.
This sort of transportation distance is amazing. It looks like a sandstone rock that's micaceous, so it's a little bit glittery. You would think, oh wow, there's rocks like this in pretty close to here. I would have expected it to come from there, but no, absolutely gobsmacked. It's definitely Scottish.
How do you know it's Scottish? Well, actually, when we tried to examine it, like, see you! And it tried to headbutt me, and it smelled of alcohol. Now, that's the kind of thing you used to be able to say in the good old days, make jokes about Scottish people drinking too much and being violent, and certainly my children are, let me work out the maths, a quarter Scottish due to their own inheritance on their mother's side. But in times like these, such comments are not allowed. Okay, let's carry on with this Stonehenge matter. I'm enjoying this. This is some of the best henge news I've seen for a while.
And well worth bringing that distance, quite clearly.
For these people, that rock had a lot of significance.
The new finding means Stonehenge was built with rocks brought from across the island of Britain. The largest, the 25-ton sarsen stones, were brought from the Marlborough Downs in Wiltshire, just 20 miles away. The smaller bluestones were transported from the Preseli Hills in West Wales, a distance of 140 miles.
What's brilliant is that you can see in the ticker the propaganda is continuing. Zelensky says Kiev is achieving its strategic... We don't know anything. It seems the extraterrestrials must have somehow been involved in moving these rocks around. Can't see how you get from the Orcadian Basin and travel 500 miles to Stonehenge. And yet, it continues. They still continue to offer you information that's using the same purview and the same paradigm as the information that would have you believe that in the past everyone was just like idiots loafing around, baffled and absolutely confused by the world. Well, perhaps this is a time for us to accept that what we're engaged in now is the management of information through the creation of categories, ironically, of misinformation and disinformation. That will be used to shut down information that's not harmful to you, but information that could wake you up. And elsewhere, what you'll get is strongly curated media spaces so that you're only given information that will make you vote and consume in certain ways, and obviously behave more deeply than even voting and consuming in ways that you don't even understand. We're entering into a kind of, I would suggest, a psychological gridlock where your behaviours and even your thoughts will be subject to monitoring. I'm not suggesting the technology exists yet to literally neurologically monitor the activity of your mind, but by God, when it exists, that's how it will be used. What I'm saying is that when you cast your eye across history, what you were told and what likely seems true and untrue, some of it untrue simply because we do not really have the ability to assess the information, but some of it untrue because we're not ever granted the opportunity to consider that this is anything other than an ongoing progression that we're engaged in. The people in the past were idiots. Look at them. Some of their nipple hairs were over a yard long, whereas these days we have washing machines and electric cars. Those dirty, bloody idiots. Oh, hold on a minute. They were moving stones for hundreds and hundreds of miles. Is it possible that they were able to use consciousness in ways that to us would seem like magic? Is it possible that there were civilizations that go way beyond what we could appreciate and understand? The answer is yes, it is possible, because we're dealing to some degree with the infinite and the eternal. Perhaps not when it comes to terrestrial matters, which can be monitored and measured, but certainly when it comes to the potential for communication, when it comes for the possibility of even means of communication, means of transportation that are beyond what we currently understand. Certainly worth us considering, rather than living in a perpetual state of haughty superciliousness. But that's just what I think. Why don't you let me know what you think in the comments and the chat? Let me know. The war against free speech is in full swing. We are the vanguard, bravely fighting back. Rumble's the home of this channel, Stay Free, and a leader in defending the fundamental human right of free speech. They've joined X to sue a cartel of advertisers and ad agencies who conspire to block ad revenue from going to the platforms. Recently, they've launched Rumble Premium. This, I think, is going to be a game changer for all of us. It's an ad-free viewing experience with great perks for viewers and creators. Rumble Premium will give you the ability to dive into your favorite content on your mobile or desktop or smart TV and savor every uninterrupted second of my content. Why don't you upgrade to Rumble Premium today? Support my free speech and the free speech of other content creators on this platform. Please go to Rumble now, rumble.com/premium. And if you use the code BRAND, you'll save $10 and Rumble will be aware that our stream is creating great converts. So that's rumble.com/premium and do use the code BRAND to save $10. Anyway, there's a link there at the bottom of the screen now. We're posting it in the chat. Join up. Our new The Oracle series, our first ever group interviews designed to bring the greatest and most authoritative voices in particular subjects together for the very first time. Robert Malone, Dr. Pierre Corey, and Steve Kirsch.
What we've experienced is a globally deployed psychological bioterrorism playbook. It's well developed.
And then I started to see just global propaganda directed at essentially distorting, dismissing, and suppressing the evidence of efficacy. And I saw it as a crime.
And at that point, I knew that this was not just a coincidence. There were too many black swans over too short a period. I've never heard anything like this story in my life.
They seem to get the human psyche so well when it comes to brainwashing us and propagandizing us to the direction that they want us to go in, that you would think that they would know that pulling all of these various tactics would actually just push support towards Trump, not away from him.
Ryan Ruth, some of his posts even show that he appeared to have been working with, in his own words, the U.S. Embassy in Kiev. He's doing effectively military intelligence, human trafficking of terrorists.
It's in this context that I think Ruth was kind of radicalized. He decided that while he wanted to assassinate Putin, the easier thing would be to assassinate Donald Trump.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to see more uncensored content where free speech can flourish, join our live stream. Click the link right here to watch the next video if you want to, or become a member of a growing movement. Download the Rumble app and you'll be informed every time we make a new piece of content. Stay free.